All right, we'll go back.
We're back. We're not going to go in there.
Another exclamation point. Why not?
Because that's Majo King. We don't have cards. Or do we have
cards?
You're
right. Fucking hell, I forgot where I was.
We're going to go in front of the Millennium Tower.
Right. There it is.
And maybe get our money back?
I remember what we were doing from the break.
I remember why no one remembers IRAM.
Because they can't count higher than 9.
How can you make all of this and all of this?
But you can't count higher than this. What the fuck? I don't give a fuck.
We're making that joke to people.
Good.
They don't understand it at all.
Good.
Kiryu-san. Thank you for coming to meet me here. It's fine. So what's going on with the banana bar?
Closing.
The thing is, our owner has lots of debts. And he wanted to increase revenue somehow. And that's what led you to scouting men off the street? You wanted guys who can score some fast cash? Yes, exactly. See, he did the mistake. He didn't lower payroll.
Yeah.
That's how the biggest way to increase profits. You lower payroll.
Yeah, that works out great. I'm sure not everyone would leave immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, exactly. But in the end, we're all satisfied. The creditors
sees the Blue Moon bar as part of a payment for all of that debt.
See, that's why he should have created an LLC. If he created an LLC, they wouldn't be able to take his personal assets. Clearly, this is just bad businessing from the owner.
Oh, it is. I'm really sorry, especially after putting you through the trouble of interviewing. Here's the fee you were paid. And a little something for your inconvenience. You got a refund of
10,000 yen.
And you got a Stemanaka spark. What's this? It's from Kazuma, the man who interviewed you. He was touched by your interview, so... Was he? But man, if you had been on the stage, it would have been raining cash every night. It's a shame. Well, can't do much if the bar is gone. Yeah, I'm sorry for the trouble I've caused you, Kiryu-san.
If we ever get an opportunity to work together, I'd love to.
I'll think about it.
Alright then.
I should be going.
Is there more to this side quest, or is this where this ends?
Huh.
I have to admit, it had me curious. That's what they say about summer camp, too.
Dude, you got 10,000 XP.
Dude, so... I know there is a point where Kiryu does do some shirtless dancing. Can we talk about this one? Like, this was not in the original game.
Uh-huh.
It was a building. And I just find it so weird that they were like, parking lot. Got it.
Well, they had to, Chris.
No, there's people that want to
Where are
fight
the
me.
people going to park their cars?
Nowhere, Derek. This is a city, and cities shouldn't have cars. I'm a fucking well-thought-out and well-bred human, and all cars should be banned in all cities. Public transportation is the future. Cars are killing our environment, and are a death sentence to us. Have I talked? I've probably never talked about this on the show.
Well, Chris, this just shows you grew up in America, where Americans have where the oil companies and the car manufacturing companies have a stranglehold on the U.S. economy.
Oh my god! I gotta get into this at some point because, oh my god,
why not right now, Chris?
There's a group of people on the internet who are obsessed with talking about how cars are the worst thing ever and we need public transportation, and then that American public transportation infrastructure is terrible and blah 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 blah. And every single time I watch one of their videos, I would always be like, the fuck are you talking about? We have all this shit you're complaining that we don't have. And then I went, oh wait, that's right, I live in the Northeast where we actually do have all this shit.
So
they're like, America has no high-speed rail lines, and I'm just like, what are you talking? We have one, we have one that goes from Boston to New York. We've had it for 10 years.
So part of their reasoning, and I've looked into this a little bit. Outside of pretty much New England, going down to
it's literally
DC almost.
Yeah, it's to DC.
There's not much rail infrastructure, and even the rail infrastructure we have up here is not very good.
That's a straight up lie.
It's falling apart.
It's a straight up lie, though.
Yeah, but the fact that we have none is not great.
It's not that we have a ton.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people understand. The problem... No, because they always bitch about this shit. And I'm always just like, the fuck are you talking about? We have a ton of fucking... like, New York City, LA, Boston, especially Boston, has one of the best train infrastructures in the entire country. Like, It's literally better than any of the other ones. Hold on, I'm talking to this guy first before I get into this, because it's fucking nonsense. Alright. I've been waiting for you, Kiryu-chan. Can I see that 2,000 yen bill?
No, it's mine!
Yeah, I'll look. Oh my god. Yeah, you've got it. Here you go.
Hey,
fuck you.
That's full already. Can I have it? No.
Should I give it to him? Yes. Here you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here's a little token of my appreciation. As promised.
Get your dick away. Put your dick away.
Yo, put that dick away.
For
yeah,
the
for the last one. Keep up a great work. Alright. Now I can talk about this. Alright.
So I started dying.
Okay, so it's complete fucking... It's not complete fucking nonsense. Obviously, the infrastructure... But this is the funniest thing to load into, I think, we've gotten.
You should just walk into him. Break up this...
The camera's gonna change... Oh, okay,
no.
the camera changed, but it still worked. Oh, no, that's for the... I gotta go in there. Over... Is that Pocket Racing specific? That must be. It's gotta be this one.
Yes.
Alright. It's just, they have such a level... essentially, my whole point is that their argument is that, like, cars should never be a thing, and it should only be fucking public transportation for everything, and trains are the future, even though they are absolutely not the future.
No.
Fucking...
Tubes. Tubes are the future.
Tubes are the future. But, like... And I'm just, like, sitting there, and I'm like, dude... Like... No matter how many times you whine and bitch and cry about this, it doesn't change the fact that trains are inconveniently slow. Even the fastest trains would still be inconvenient. Like, people think you can just, like, put trains anywhere. Do you know how hard it would be to put in train, Derek? A high-speed rail across the entire country of America?
It would cost...
Do you know how much money it would cost? Do you know how many mountains we would need to dig straight through so that the train wouldn't fucking
let me hit you with this one.
Explode?
Let me hit you with this one.
Yeah.
So the reason that a lot of these people are like, oh, blah, blah, it's great, you know, and all that, is because Europe is not as...
It's super small and super flat compared to our country.
Yeah.
That's why it's easy for them to do that. It's fucking way harder to do that in here.
The fact that the first national railroad in this country took, like, 5 years at least to make. I think it was more than that.
Dude, okay. Fucking California's putting in a high-speed rail. It's $10 million over budget and still not finished.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's why I'm like, these people are insane. Like, this is not gonna work the way they think it's gonna work. And even if it does work, a train is still inconvenient because you can't put train tracks meeting every fucking town. It's not possible. You can put it between key cities. That's fine. I'm willing to give you some... I'm willing to humor you on that. But, like, you can put them in cities to travel in cities. They're not trains at that point. They're subways. Technically not trains. But they're technically classified as a different type of train.
Oh, yeah.
But you can't just put a fucking train track in every goddamn town and be like, that's how everyone's going to travel now. No! It doesn't fucking work.
So, it's strange because, you know... People don't seem to understand that, you know, trains were very efficient. Cars are not.
Trains were the most efficient way to travel until we invented planes. And now planes are vastly more efficient than trains.
But they kill the environment, Chris.
They probably do, but the thing is that, hey, the plane is still the thing you're bitching about. It's public transportation. A bunch of people use it so that a bunch of people don't need to drive. So arguably, it's better for the fucking environment.
Let me hit you with this story that I read recently, and I want to see how you feel about this.
Yep.
France recently just put a bill in place that if a flight is less than 2 hours, 2.5 hours, they are requiring the citizens and like people to use trains.
That is
in their own country.
Okay, here's the thing. It's fine for France, even though I don't agree with it, because a 2-hour plane ride is probably like an 8-hour train ride.
I do not know. I think if it,
assuming they have high-speed rails and they move exactly the same speed as trains somehow, which I highly doubt, but let's assume they do, that's still a 2-hour train ride, which is obnoxious.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know what, they can get away with that because France is a smaller country. It's only inside France they're enforcing this, and their trains are faster and actually well kept because they're Europe.
Are you saying that the United States doesn't have the greatest transcontinental system?
I mean, it's not that bad, honestly. People like to bitch and whine about how bad it is. It's really not that bad. It's just not that good when you could take a plane. That's just why people don't take them.
The train system in this country is not actually that.
It's not that bad. You can get pretty much to any major city from a train station.
Oh, correct.
Like, literally anyone in the country. It's just
you have to know
where you're going. Yeah, you have to know where you're going ahead of time. The problem with it is that it's more expensive to ride a train than to take an airplane.
Yes.
By, like, a lot.
I've looked into it.
And it's slower.
They have sleeper trains that, you know, if you wanted to go from...
Amtrak's.
Yeah, Amtrak's. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You go from the Great Lakes to, I think it's like California.
Yes.
And it's like 102-hour train ride or something like that. Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of want to do it someday.
Same.
Just to do it.
Same.
But, like, yeah, it's like...
But, it's not the most expensive.
Yes.
But it's like the same price comparatively to taking a plane.
Yeah, exactly.
Which... Just take a plane at that point.
Yeah, like, that's the... Well, here's the thing. It's the same thing comparatively to taking a plane. And also, a plane will do it in half the time. And that's why trains are fucking not the future. They're too fucking slow. And then everyone's like, that's because we just don't have high-speed rail. And I'm like, you figure out how to put a high-speed rail in, and then you get back to me.
Yeah.
Like, good fucking luck with that.
So, something a lot of people don't seem to understand about high-speed rail.
Yeah.
Is...
Like, you can't just put a high-speed train on the regular rail. You have to make high-speed rail that can support a high-speed train.
And the other thing with high-speed rail is... Yeah, like you just said, you know, you can't have it on the same as the normal ones because, you know, I forget exactly how the technology works. But
they use magnets.
Magnets,
yeah, it's a magnet system.
But the other thing is...
Well, at least most of them are.
You can't have high-speed rail on the same as normal trains because normal trains they don't go fast enough for the high-speed rail.
Yes.
And that will cause a collision.
Yes. The other thing is, not only does it need its own rail and need to be high-speed rail, because that's the only way the train will even be able to move high-speed anyways, it also has to be a, like, almost perfectly straight line for huge stretches of the environment. And if anything, and I mean anything, gets onto that track, keep in mind how huge America is, not only is that the death of whatever's on that track, it's also probably the death of everyone on that fucking train. Because a collision at that high of a speed on a train where no one is seatbelted in, there's going to be a lot of dead people.
And, Chris, I want you to take a guess how many named mountains there are in the United States.
I'm going to assume there's hundreds. I don't know the actual number, but I'm going to assume there's hundreds.
Put an extra couple zeros on there, Chris. There is 73,301 named mountains.
Like... I mean, even here in the Northeast, it would be too much of a problem because, like, even, like, West Virginia is so fucking hilly. Like, they're not even mountains, but it would be too hilly just to put a high-speed rail in West Virginia because they just have too many fucking hills. They don't even have mountains. The hills alone would be too much for high-speed rail. And now you're going to tell me that we're going to try and figure out a way to put that shit through the mountain that gets to California? There's, like, huge mountains blocking almost all of California.
So what some people don't understand, and it makes me laugh, is the rails, the train tracks they already have in the country for, like, cross-continental ones.
Yes.
They're super windy.
Yes.
Because it was easier than
because it was cheaper and easier to build around than to go through a fucking mountain.
Yeah.
Like,
it still is.
It still is. They still do it. Yeah. The only reason they don't is because they need to put a high-speed rail in, and that's only in countries that can afford to do that. But anyways, let's get into this. I've talked enough about how fucking stupid the people who are like, trains of the future are. Looking at you, fucking...
They offer prizes. Take a look at the prize items, Chris.
Take a look. Take a look. I might have talked to the wrong guy this whole time.
I think you did.
Yeah, fuck. Alright. I'm not interested in your prizes.
I think you could have talked to that guy, though.
I gotta fucking go around him. Okay, no. Apparently not.
I do feel like you should do some batting, though, because that would be pretty cool.
I wish I did the batting while I was talking about trains. It's this guy.
I don't think you would have been able to focus, Chris.
Probably not.
Is something wrong? I came all the way out here to hit some balls, but I can't get anything with this normal money.
I wish I could charge the 200,000 yen.
That's the bill the guy wants. I should offer exchange.
I will exchange.
I can make change if you want. Oh, really? Dude, that's great.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Cool. Alright, you know what? Well, let me hit them if I go into one. You know what? Let's try one.
$300?
Check the rules. Hold on, I gotta see.
Oh, on the extra hard course.
On X. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Let me do a bitch course. I'm assuming these ones are
the beginner course.
There we go. I think I just hit X, right? And then I aim at the analog stick. Yeah, left analog stick and hex X to play. Gotcha. Let's go hit some fucking balls, baby.
But yeah, the rails are interesting.
Yes.
And you know,
they sure are.
I will agree with them, but also not agree with them.
I mean, I agree with them to a certain extent, but they really fucking... Hold on. Too early.
Yeah, they really don't, they don't think about it.
Way early. Yeah, they, yeah, like, it's not the problem isn't trains. The problem is that, like, they talk about it like it's the fucking future.
Home
there
run!
We go. Call me home run, Kiryu. They talk about it like it's the fucking future and that anything else doesn't make any sense. And I'm just like, I'm fucking so bad at this. But like, it's just like inherently untrue because if trains were actually, if trains were actually as good as they think they are, then we would just have trains everywhere in the first place.
The other thing that a lot of people don't seem to understand is,
what if I want to hit you?
A lot of people don't seem to understand either is the automobile companies have such a monopoly on transportation in this country. Why do you think the highways and roadways are built the way they are?
Actually, not as much as you think.
Not as much nowadays, but they had a lot more of it.
They really didn't, actually. I'll get to that in a minute. I'm not saying that... I mean, the car industry obviously used funding to try and get what they wanted, but, like... You gotta remember, the highways originally were built by car companies because the government refused to pay for it. So that's the only reason we have roads in the first place. Until... Because Ford was against it. Ford was like, no, I'm not gonna spend any money to build roads because the government should be paying for fucking roads. It's public it's for the community as a whole. They should pay for their own fucking roads. And eventually they did when they started going to war and realizing that cars were the best way to ship military equipment and people.
Infrastructure.
Yeah, so they spent a lot of money on roads because it was good for war. Again, trains are bad for war, which is why we have roads and not trains. Anyways,
trains are good for moving large quantities of stuff.
Yeah, they're good for
cheaply.
They're good for shipping. That's it. But they're not good for moving people. They're mediocre at moving people.
But let me hit you with this one that a lot of people don't seem to understand. And my buddy's husband is a trucker, so I've had this conversation with him before. You know, of the whole train debate or moving transport.
Yeah.
But like. Yeah, you can ship a shipping container on a train.
Yeah.
But how are you going to get that from where the train spots are located?
Yeah, you got to use a truck. You have to load that shit onto a truck.
Hence is the reason why California is having a weird issue. Can I give it a shot?
Yeah, sure.
Hence is the reason why California is having this weird issue because they're banning, what the hell is it called?
Trucking.
Trucking.
Well, gas trucks. Yeah.
And that's causing a huge issue. Because, there's just, you can't, if you're going to ban the use of, using big transport to get cars or shit into the vehicles, then, it's not going to do much.
Yeah, it's kind of the whole, I mean, again, it's the same problem with the fucking, what I was saying before with the fucking train thing, which is like, oh, trains should be used to carry people around. That's cool. What do they use once they get there?
Yeah.
Like, and I know what their argument's going to be. Their argument is more trains, more public transportation, bicycles. And it's like, most people aren't going to fucking do that. They're going to get off the train, and they're going to go get a fucking car.
Different mindsets, too, you know?
Yeah.
Europeans have been raised on a different mindset than Americans.
Well, to be fair, most of these people who argue for this are Americans that moved to Europe.
Yeah.
And then are just like, this system's so much better. And I'm just like, no, it really isn't. It's just you're used to it.
It's better because their system has been designed like that for 300 years, where ours is not.
Yeah. My favorite one, and the most important one, which is the greatest flaw in their argument that they always fucking gloss over, is we can have trains for everything. We should ban cars outright. And I'm just like, that's cool. So, how do the police, firemen, and ambulance get to places?
They have their own.
No, there's no roads. There's no cars now, so there's no need for roads. So how the fuck do they get places?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, what's the answer to that? I've never gotten an answer to that.
People aren't smart, man.
Yeah, it's like, what, do the ambulance just fucking walk you on a stretcher to the nearest hospital? Like, what the fuck is... Like, they just throw you on a stretcher, take you on the train, and they're just like, wow, I hope this doesn't have too many stops before we get to the hospital. Don't die on us.
Don't you die on me, buddy.
It's like, why...
You need to live to pay your ridiculous medical expenses because you live in the United States that did away with roads.
Like, it just makes no fucking sense. My favorite is, like, they were doing, like, someone was doing city skylines, and he was trying to make, like, a walkable city with no roads. And, like, the sidewalk was more expensive to maintain than the roads. And they were like, that's fucking bullshit. The sidewalk wouldn't be more expensive to maintain. Roads are so much more expensive to maintain because they got to carry heavy vehicles and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, listen, it makes perfect sense because he got rid of roads, but you can't get rid of police, ambulance, fire trucks. Guess what they're driving on? Now they're driving on sidewalks that were not built to handle the weight of those vehicles. Guess what now needs to have more fucking construction costs? Weird how that would work.
Oh yeah, no, it's straight up like, dude.
Like, people are just fucking stupid. I'm sorry, but you people are just fucking dumb. Like, it's so easy to just be like, this is the solution to the problem, and then just never bring... That's, like, the biggest problem with YouTube. I love YouTube. But the biggest problem with YouTube is it's so easy to make a bunch of good points, completely ignore every flaw in your argument, and have every goddamn sheep in the comment section being like, this guy's a genius, why don't we do this? And it's like, well, because of this, that.
You know what's the worst part that I've been seeing?
Yeah.
TikTok does that even worse.
Oh god, yeah. TikTok's even fucking more cancerous than YouTube at this point. Fucking... I mean, at this point, it pretty much always was. You did better than me.
Yeah. I'm sad because I only got a B rank. I could have got an A.
Yeah, you're close. Fucking...
I'm kind of tempted to try a different level.
I mean, you may as well do it again. We got 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Yeah,
sure, I'll do a normal course now.
May as well fuck around. This whole episode is going to be talking about trains and public transportation.
Yeah, you're going to be calling it
TRAINS!
Capital letters with an exclamation point.
There's a guy who's like, oh, there's multiple home runs. Interesting. I'm assuming that you actually have to aim in the future. But, yeah. What was I saying about fuck? Oh. There's a guy who... Oh, I get how this works now. Yeah, there's a guy who, like, lives in Europe now. Okay, my problem with this is, like, there's this guy who lives in Europe now called, like, Only Bikes or something. And he's, like, obsessed with making sure people only ride bicycles and public transportation for everything. And he lives in Europe, where it makes sense. But, like, I don't live in Europe, and it doesn't make sense for my country. But, nice. So, he's fucking... How do I put it in a way that's delicate?
He's fucking...
He lives... Well, he exclusively lived in all the bad cities that have shitty public transportation. And then was just like, American cities are bad and have bad transportation. And I'm just like... I'm like, that's what you get for living in Houston. You know what I mean? It's like, you can't live in Houston, Texas, and fucking, like... I forget what the other one was. I think it was, like, somewhere in Georgia or something. And I'm like, you can't live in these cities that are very car-centric. You know, you can't live in... Texas, I drive a truck in a 4x4 and drive through the desert on a daily.
So the thing about Texas, and I've had having this conversation a lot with my coworker.
Yeah.
Texas is great, but to get anywhere,
you're
so far away.
Yeah, it's the state's too big. Yeah. It's fucking huge.
And so we're in New England.
Yes.
Most things are...
Not only we're in New England. All of the New England states is still less of a driving distance than from one end of Texas to the other, I'm pretty sure.
So, where we would be like, oh, that's a little bit of a drive if it's more than like 30 minutes, because we're used to things being very conveniently located.
Yep.
My buddy... Wow, that is...
Yeah, you're way off.
My buddy grew up in, like, kind of more of the Midwest.
Yeah.
Anything that's less than, like, an hour is still close to him.
Yeah.
It took him an hour drive to get to, like, the grocery store when he was growing up.
Yeah, see,
which I'm like, yeah, that's the way it is for most of the country.
Which is ridiculous. But, like, hey, you get what you get when you live where you live. But, fucking...
But, that's the way it is there.
Yep.
So...
That's just how it is. That's just the way it is. Things will never be the same. Alright, anyway. But yeah, fucking, it doesn't make sense when you're just like, oh, it's super bad here, and I'm just like, no shit, you live in Europe, where it's super good. Of course you're gonna be used to it like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you lived in New York, or like Boston, or even California, like, you wouldn't have this problem. They're very walkable cities. Like, there's tons of subways, you can walk anywhere, there's a million buses running, like, it's not a problem. Like, you chose fucking Houston, Texas, you got Houston, Texas. That's what I can't tell you anymore.
When you
than
live
that.
in a state that's not...
Yeah.
That's super fucking big. When you live in a state that can fit all of England into it 15 times, like, or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, that's what you get. That's just how it is. Anyways, unfortunately, we'll have to get back to this on the next part. We'll see you guys then. Peace.